Okay, so welcome back. Now this is going to be one of the most important lecture on object-oriented programming, where we'll understand the use case of initializing function or init method. Okay, so I'll give the heading initializer function. Okay, or initializer for objects. Okay, so again let's create a class iPhone. Okay, let's create a class iPhone, and I will now create a functionality within this class iPhone, which is def underscore underscore init underscore underscore. Okay, now this init is also called a dunder function or a magic function. What is a magic function? You will understand this in some time, but in short, these functions will automatically be getting called when the object is getting created, or these will be defined for an object by default. Okay, for example, init is a function which automatically gets called whenever you are creating an object. You don't have to specifically call it, okay, like any other function. So that's why these are called magic functions, and it will always be underscore underscore some name underscore underscore. Okay, so init is the most useful magic function that we'll be using, which is for initializing an object. Okay, I'll write here used for initializing an object. Okay, now first parameter that it will always have is this self parameter, and I'll help you understand the use case of this self in just a few minutes. Okay, second is, let's say, the name of the iPhone, the series of that iPhone, and the version of that iPhone. Okay, version like Ultra Pro Max and all those things. Okay, perfect. Now what I'll do is I'll set these. Okay, let me write this over here. So I'll go here and I will now set each of these attributes. Okay, so I'll say self dot name equals to name, self dot series equals to whatever series the user has entered, and self dot version equals to whatever version the user has entered. Just wait for a few minutes, you will understand each and every line. Okay, I know that it can look a bit fascinating and overwhelming, but don't worry. Okay, perfect. So this is my initializing function, and I'll hit run. Okay, now comes the magic. Suppose I create I1 object and I say iPhone. Now so far we were only creating an object with empty, without any parameter. Okay, so this is your default initializer, which doesn't expect any parameter or any initializing values. But when you have to mandate कि whichever iPhone is getting created will have name, series and version for it. Okay, so you will now pass only 3 parameters. Understand, here there are 4, but you will never pass self. I will tell you what self is. So you will pass name, let's say iPhone. Okay, the series is 14 and the version is Pro. Okay, the version is Pro. You can create your own objects. Okay, perfect. And as soon as I hit enter, see the magic. It didn't give me error. If I do i1.name, it will give me iPhone. If I set i2.series, it will give me, sorry, series, series, sorry, not i1, my bad, i1.series. Okay, it will give me 14. Okay, if you want, let's make it better. Let's remove series from here and let's have name and series together. Okay, that would be better. Okay, because every iPhone will be having. So this is iPhone 14 like this, and only Pro. Okay, iPhone 14 Pro. Okay, just to make it more simple and easy to understand. So here I will say version, name, version. So name is iPhone 14, and now I'll check version. Version is Pro. Okay, very interesting. Now suppose tomorrow I go and purchase a second iPhone, or you go and purchase a second iPhone. I2 equals to iPhone, let's say it is iPhone 15, the latest one, iPhone 15. Okay, and it is ultra pro max. I don't even know if ultra pro max exists, but still ultra pro max. Okay, so this is another object. Understand, in the context of object oriented programming, iPhone is a class, a template. You are creating your own specific iPhones. So i2 equals to, sorry, i2 dot name will automatically be set to iPhone 15. Okay, and i2 dot version is automatically getting set to ultra pro max. Now the magic is how the code is understanding that i1 should have this name and this version, whereas i2 should have this name and this version. Okay, very interesting. We never questioned that. The reason is self. The reason is self. Self is helping the code understand that when I call this with i1, when I call this with i1, i1 dot name give me the name for i1 specifically, but when I call this name attribute with i2, specifically give me the name of i2. Okay, so i2 dot name is giving me iPhone 15, i1 dot name is giving me iPhone 14. Okay, so this is the use case of self. This is the use case of self. Okay, self is helping the code understand which object should be set with what specific attribute. Again, this self is not a mandatory term. You can use any, but any variable, but by industry standards we always put self here. Okay, so self dot name, self dot version. So this is how a predefined functionality, which is a magic method, gets initialized. Okay, and there are lots of magic methods, but the most useful for us is this init, which we use for initializing an object. So this I have never called. As you can see, I have just simply created an object, and internally this automatically called init method. Now I can create my own functionality. Let's say def display. Okay, so there is no display called magic method. I am defining my own method display. Okay, and it will take self, and it will print formatted string. Name is self dot name, and version is self dot version. Okay, see the magic, guys, see the magic. Okay, let me again run all of this. Okay, now if I call i1 dot display, so again, whether you are setting attribute, whether you are setting the functionality, i1 dot display, okay, display will be called specifically for i1. Because of this self, it will understand that name and version of i1 are to be printed. Interesting, right? I have never passed anything apart from it. Okay, you don't even have to pass self. Self will automatically be captured when you're calling it by i1. So if I do i1 dot display, I get name is iPhone 14 and version is Pro. Whereas if I do i2 dot display, it will automatically understand that I need to access the name and version of i2. So name is iPhone 15 and version is Ultra Pro Max. Fascinating. Okay, so I request you to practice all of these concepts before you move forward with the object-oriented programming. Okay, I hope this was useful. Thank you.